We have a wide range of mental health disciplines recognized, and at PSI we have psychologists and social workers and psychoanalysts and mental health counselors. But we're especially thrilled to have younger people who are beginning their careers, and we're able to pass on to them some of the ethos of pastoral counseling.
I actually had a board interview last year where I was talking about working for the Psychotherapy and Spirituality Institute, and someone said to me, well, how do you even integrate those things? And it was like a hostile question. And I said, without really thinking about it, I don't know how you disintegrate them. And I think that what's happened more recently with the medicalization of psychology and psychotherapy is that there has been a lot of disintegration, and that people come to us with lives that feel disintegrated, and they get treatment that feels disintegrated. And the idea of psychotherapy and spirituality being integrated is that it sort of sees, mind, body, spirit as a totality and as a holism. And I think that people are really responsive to that because they're so used to things being broken down for parts. They're so used to getting performance measures. So to be seen as a person or as a spirit or as a soul in itself feels healing and curative. And I think most of us who are here at PSI have had that experience ourselves of being regarded in that way as whole.
Today, I see us expanding in all kinds of ways. We become more interfaith in our direction. We become more educational in wanting to offer. We started offering the Wednesday, once a month meetings to people that, giving them educational opportunities both for professionals and for lay people. I think there's a lot of energy here, positive energy. And I'm very happy to be a part of that right now because I feel that there is more positive energy emanating from this place today than there has been perhaps at any point in the 40 years. So it's really good.
So I came to PSI out of the parish setting. I'm an ordained Presbyterian minister and an educated social worker. And I love parish setting. I love liturgy, I love worship, I love community. But I worked in pastoral care, which meant that my role at the church was to meet with people, meet with couples, meet with families, to talk about transitions in their life, to discuss spiritual issues, which always relate to issues in life, right? There's not a distinction between the spiritual and the psychological, at least in my understanding of it. Spiritual is not a synonym for religious. And so when we talk about spiritual, we're not talking about religious doctrine or what church you belong to or what religion you identify with. It's about where you find hope, meaning, and connection. And I think that's true for most people. And that PSI allows me to incorporate that into therapy just makes sense.
There's a diversity in terms of approaches, and I find that very exciting. And I love the supervision. For instance, in today's supervision, you had very different approaches to how one would handle a particular case that we were looking at. But it offers a lot in terms of enriching as a new person, as a fairly new therapist. I've only been a therapist about 4 years. So it really helps me see different approaches and ways of working with clients.
I want to keep learning. And every week we meet together at a staff meeting, not just to talk about logistics or budgets or other things that are going on, but to say, what do we want to learn together? Do we want to learn about the changes in the DSM? Do we want to learn about new articles and new investigations into this field of psychotherapy and spirituality? Well, I want to learn from the psychologist who comes from a Buddhist perspective. I want to talk with the marriage and family therapists of how they got into their work and talk about family systems. I want to bring my experience in the congregational setting to people who haven't been in a congregational or parish setting before. So I think the combination of those things, of the individual supervision for myself, the group supervision, and the continuing education for a clinician is the ideal. It really is the best of the best, and to be a part of this team.
PSI is a kind of family to me. It really is. It's a second family, and I really find that it feeds me to be here on Wednesdays and be surrounded by, I think, some of the very best therapists you're going to find anywhere, and people who are really committed to what they're doing.